according to Texans reporter DJ Bien-Aime, Cj Gardner Johnson was cut in large part because of three big plays that he led up. So let's take a look at all 3 plays.
Alright, so this video came across my For You page, and according to the person that created this video, there was a report coming out of Houston that Cj Gardner Johnson was cut because of these 3 plays. Now, for, transparency, I am an Eagles fan and I'm very familiar with Cj Gardner Johnson, but I'm going to let the person that created this video give his take and then explain to y'all why him and that reporter is wrong.
Cj Gardner Johnson here in white sleeves. He's guarding number 87 here. Should be anyway. But instead, it's going to be a play action. 87 is going to run kind of a corner here. This tight end is going to have a delayed block, kind of out, really trying to sell this play action. So Cj Gardner Johnson steps to the running back, thinks, oh yeah, I'm about to make a tackle all the way across the field here. But instead, Stafford rolls out. His man's behind him, so he pretends, hey, why don't I just act like I'm covering this guy the whole time? And everyone else is trying to cover for him.
Now, if you know ball, you know that this is a horrible take, because if you look at Cj Gardner Johnson, he's actually disrupting that receiver's path to the end zone. And when this receiver right here sheds the block and goes out on the flat, Cj Gardner Johnson picks him up. Now, number 87 is the responsibility of this cornerback and that safety over the top. And you can see CJ's going to cover the flat. Now, according to the person that created this video, he believes CJ was supposed to follow number 87 to the end zone. But as you can clearly see, there's also a cornerback and another safety there, leaving the flat wide open if CJ didn't take that on. So again, horrible take, because if you know ball, you would know that that play was not on CJ. But trust me, it gets worse. Check this take out.
All right, it's week 3. This one, surely time for redemption. Let's let this play run in its entirety. You could tell me if you saw the blown coverage. All right, so even though the Texans bring a whole lot more pressure on this play, it's generally the same concept as before. Cj Gardner Johnson can't let anyone behind him, and he needs to pick up a crossing route through his zone, but instead, gonna bite on a curl. So right there is Cj Gardner Johnson. Already, he makes a bad play. He takes a step in. Look at everyone else. Everyone else takes steps back when it's a pass. Cj Gardner Johnson takes steps closer. That is not ideal if you are a safety, but he's a ball hawk, so he's going to go for it anyway. So right here, Cj Gardner Johnson should pick up this crossing route and follow Brian Thomas all the way through this pattern, but instead he's fixated on jumping this little out route, and he's going to get toasted. We'll watch the rest of the play, but it is known immediately, hey man, where the hell were you?
All right, so first and foremost, the Texans is in a blitz package. You got 6 guys blitzing the quarterback, leaving everybody else pretty much in man coverage. And as the play develops, you will see who's responsible for who and who actually blew the coverage. Now, this corner is responsible for this receiver. And as you see, Cj Gardner Johnson, he's responsible for this receiver that looks like he's running an out route. Now, according to the person that made this video, Cj Gardner Johnson was supposed to follow this receiver across the field, which would have left this receiver wide open to practically jog into the end zone. Now, if there was anybody that blew the coverage, I would blame it on this cornerback, because he has help underneath with this receiver with the linebacker right here. But it looks like he jumped the route and allowed this whole side of the field to be wide open for the touchdown. Now, there was another play that this creator broke down. I think it was against the Buccaneers, where CJ looked like he bit on a Baker Mayfield pump fake. And again, I'm not trying to criticize this creator or even validate the fact that this reporter singled out these 3 plays. But, I mean, the breakdown of the coverage clearly wasn't on CJ at all times. And I haven't watched all of the Texans games this year, but you can't convince me that these 3 plays was the reason CJ got cut by the Texans. And if the reporter did get this information, I would advise him to check his sources, because, I mean, if you know ball, you know ball. And it wouldn't be the first time that an NFL team came up with some weird excuse why they got rid of a player just out of nowhere. I remember when the Eagles got rid of Deshaun Jackson, they claimed he was a gang member. But for real, Chip Kelly just wanted to get rid of all of the talent on the team. So if you know ball, you know ball. And then there's no way that these 3 plays got CJ cut. But Let me know what y'all think over in the comments, man. I'm out of here.